Hey, mamas, welcome back to the episode. Today, I'm super excited for my first interview in season 2 with Monique Lume, and she is a really good friend of mine and somebody that I refer to on the podcast quite often because she is somebody who helped me go through core wound healing. And so, we're talking about all things leadership today and how to be a better leader when you're healed. So I hope that this episode blesses you, and it is definitely a little bit of a longer one, but stick in there till the end. I think you're really going to enjoy it. If you want to connect with Monique on anything, I have posted her information in the show notes. So here we go. Hey, mamas. You're listening to the MomSquad podcast, a space for moms in network marketing. I'm your host, Melissa Wheelahan. I'm a mom, educator, coach, and trainer. For the past 25 years, I have been a part of network marketing as a stay-at-home mom, a part-time working mom, a full-time working mom, and most recently as an empty nester, and I've learned a thing or two. Do you ever feel like you're trading family time for business time? Have you tried all the things and still don't feel like you're getting anywhere? Are you always wondering where your next customer will come from or feel like the hustle never ends? Are you wanting to lead others but you just don't know how? Well, then you have come to the right place. I believe that the most impactful network marketers show up for their customers and team as their authentic, humble, and real self. So whether you're just starting on your network marketing journey, or you've been in network marketing for a while, or you just need to see things from a different lens, I'm here to help. I'm going to be teaching you how to level up your business through relationships, leadership, and impact. So grab a pen and paper and get comfy because it's about to get real, raw, and authentic. Are you ready? Let's stop the hustle and embrace the journey. Let's go. Okay, hey everybody. I am super excited to have my good friend Monique here with us today on the episode. And I'm going to share really quickly with you a little bit about how I met Monique, and then you are all going to be blessed by her. So Monique is a certified core wound healer, and she has her own company she's going to tell you about. But I met her through my upline in my previous company, and she was offering a training on recruiting. And I thought, oh, I can do that. I'm a good recruiter. I'll go to her training and see what new tips I can learn. And part of it was really about mindset and getting out of your own way. And at one point she said to me, well, why are you here? And I said, because I'm like, I don't have any issues. I don't have anything I need to work through. Oh, she's going to.
It was fear. It was
fear.
The
Yes.
fearless challenge. It was the fearless challenge.
It's the fearless challenge. The fearless challenge. And I was like, I don't have any fears to work through. And she's like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, well, because everybody else was here. And I just wanted to be part of what everybody else was doing. And she's like, maybe you should think about that. And I was like, I don't like you. And so then I was like, I don't like Monique, and I'm never going to listen to anything Monique says. And then, I don't know, something happened. I was watching all the girls on the team, and I was like, man, they're different, and they've gone through this healing thing with her. I'm like, let me give it another try. And then I went through it with Monique, just put my own ego aside and worked with Monique, and we have been amazing friends ever since. And so I am so excited that she's here. So Monique, tell us a little bit about you. She's going to tell us a little bit about her and about healing and why you would want to consider being a healed leader.
Right? I freaking love our story so much. It's one of my favorites. And honestly, I feel like it's a very common story. People just don't talk about it. People are so resistant to healing. And before I'll just dive right into that. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Monique Lume. I am the founder of Core Wound Healing. I am the conduit. It was divinely given to me by God in 2017. to heal my own life. So it started with me first. I needed healing, and I was ready for healing. And so I literally asked God, please show me the way, open the door, I'll walk through it. And core wound healing was born. So it was given to me to bring out and birth into the world. And it's been a beautiful modality. It's been like you've experienced, completely life changing, business changing. It changes lineage and families and all kinds of beautiful stuff. And aside from that, I do a bunch of other stuff. I work with clients privately, like Melissa. I work with women in groups. I do sand bowl healings and all kinds of other stuff. And so, I mean, I don't know if we go into the question like, what is healing? Is that what we're asking? What is healing?
Yeah, give us a little brief, like what it is. If people are like, I don't even know what this means.
Yeah. So the way it was given to me and shown to me, which is, what I like to convey, I think the word healing can turn a lot of people off, right? People can feel like it's very off-putting. They attach a religious connotation to it, like heal, you immediately revert and think, for me, in my mind, when people would say healing before this, I think of those old videos that I would watch from like the 80s where like there's these wild pastors on stage and they put their hand on the person's forehead and it's like, you are healed. And like the person falls to the floor, right? Like
not that. It's not that, everybody. It's not that.
That is not what we do. But that's what the word healing, I think a lot of people kind of, if they don't have that vision, it's something in that realm of like, it's a religious thing, or what is that? What does that mean? And they're kind of fearful of it, right? And so when we actually look at what it really is, and the way that God showed me what it is and how it works in our life is really just it's spiritual healing, right? It's actually healing the soul of the wounds, the traumas, the limiting beliefs, the negative thoughts, the bad life experiences that we've had, all of those, the energy of all of that we experience attaches to us, that low vibration, the negative energy, the low vibe emotions that we feel when those things occur attached to us as wounds. And so those, I call them invisible wounds. Those are sitting inside of us. So when we have an actual like physical cut or something that happens to our physical body, it's a wound that needs to be healed, right? And we can see it physically. And we can see like there's something we either need to get it stitched up or put a Band-Aid on it or put some Neosporin on it or let it air out. Whatever we do, we know that we have to tend to the wound so that it can heal, right? So our body can heal. In the same vein, our spiritual wounds, our wounds of our soul, of our mind, all of that is happening, but they're invisible wounds. And those also need to be tended to, and they need healing. And so healing can happen in a variety of different ways. There's a bunch of different modalities. Sometimes it's simply we just need to pray and ask God for guidance or a word, or sometimes it's straight up reading a scripture that speaks to our soul and we know what we need to do next. Sometimes it is deeper. So we need to go to therapy, right? We need to try other different alternative modalities. We need to get Reiki, or we need to talk to a spiritual guidance counselor or something like that. We need to hire a coach or a mentor, or do something like core wound healing, which is an actual, it's a different modality, right? And walk through steps that are going to show us exactly how to identify what the wound is. And the healing occurs in the transmutation of the energy. So taking the energy of the trauma, of the wound, of the negative belief, whatever it is, taking the energy of that, the low vibe emotion and energy, and actually transmuting it, changing it, turning it into a newer high vibrational energy so that it can be released from our body and come out and go out into the world and be turned into something good. When that is released from us, we experience what you've experienced, what I've experienced, what a lot of your team has experienced, which is that radical relief and quote unquote healing. It's not attached to our body anymore, just like when your physical wound is healed and you might see the scar of when it happened, but it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't affect you. You just can look at it and say, oh yeah, that thing happened. It's the same thing with any of our experiences that we've had if we actually do the work to heal them.
Yeah, it is the most powerful thing. I was thinking this morning, like I've done 3. I think I've healed 4 wounds, 3, one with Monique's
group, one with or twice with Monique, once on a one-on-one with one of Monique's healers, and then once kind of with myself with an accountability partner. And I now go into the mode when something bothers me, I'm like, is this a wound? Is this
Yeah.
is this a wound? And I like
Yep.
start to journal and I write it down. I'm like, is this really a wound? Is this something that's bothering me because of something that I need to flush out?
Yes.
Or not, or is it just I just need to have a different way of thinking about it?
That's right.
And sometimes it's not a wound, and like one of the times it was, and I had a friend who's also gone through it, and I'm like, I'm gonna do the whole process. Will you just be my ear? And she's like, yep, and busted it out. And but yeah, it's a very I don't know how to explain. It's a very powerful thing. I really think everybody should do it.
Everyone should heal
Over and over. And like the life of healing it doesn't end. Like there's always going to be stuff. Like it could be the littlest thing to like the most traumatic thing in your life.
Totally.
It could be just,
Yeah, it could be anything. And that's the thing is like once, especially with core wound healing, because it's 6 steps and it's a very simple process. It's not easy, it's simple, but it's like you have this thing in your back pocket. So you can, what it empowers us to do is become our own self-healer, right? Like we don't have to go out and seek something else. We are ultimately our own healer. As long as we have the tools, we can navigate through it. When we have the support, like you did, I'm gonna work through this. Can you hold space for me? Can you listen to me as I work through this? Right? That's having the support that we need. But when we ultimately start collecting these tools to enable us to be our own self-healer and empower us to do that, that's what core wound healing is. It's really powerful because, like you said, you can see a trigger happening right in your life. Something's bothering you, gets you worked up or sad or emotional or whichever direction it takes us. Look at it, start working through it. Like, what is this? This is really a wound, or is this just something that I need to see differently or respond to in a different way? Is this just an old pattern coming up that it's my autopilot to revert back to this, even though I know better? Whatever the case is, it's like then you're like, oh, actually, this is a wound and I do need to heal this. You have the tool, you have the resource, you just have to do the work to shift it, to transmute it, and then we move forward. We keep healing forward, right? Like it is never ending. We heal. As long as I always say, from the moment we choose the path to healing, we're going to be healing forward for as long as we're alive, because we've been hurting before that as long as we've been alive, right? Like our whole life we've been operating from a hurting space. We get the opportunity to choose to heal from that moment forward. It's healing forward instead of hurting forward.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, healing forward instead of hurting forward. That is so good. I want to talk a little bit about how this plays out in leadership. And Monique knows the team that I started. I started with my new company in March, and I've been in direct sales for 25 years, like in some sort of business. And I was telling Monique, I can't even imagine how I ran my businesses before. Yeah. Because the way I show up now is so different. I cannot explain it to you until you experience it. I don't know how to explain. It's kind of like if you're trying to explain childbirth to the person who's having a child for the first time, you're like, all I want to tell you is it sucks and it hurts, but what comes out of the other end is right. That's all I can tell you, because I can't really explain it, because everybody's journey is different for childbirth. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like I can't explain it to you, but I can tell you that I have a lot of people on my team who have gone through healing with Monique. And so it's nice having those other leaders that get it, because they're like, you're going into your wounded space right now, or you're, like they're holding you accountable, and we just show up differently. I don't know. It's fascinating to me. And so I want to talk about talk about leadership. Like why would somebody even want to consider being a leader that takes the time to go through this?
Yeah. So this was probably one of my favorite bodies of work that I knew I was supposed to do. And when I met you last year, I was in network marketing and the direct sales industry for a long time. I mean, actively from 2015, but even before that, I shared a lot of my stories last year, but I had always been involved in the industry in some way. And so I knew that God was calling me to bring healing into this industry. And it really is such a beautiful space of people that just desire to help people, right? Like that really is what the industry overall is about. Like There's so many different products and different kinds of companies out there. And the people who join really just want to help people in some way. Sure, they want to make money doing it, but ultimately they want to help people. The interesting part is when people join the industry, and this was what God showed me very clearly in my own journey and in just observing the industry as a whole, is people join the industry, direct sales, network marketing, MLM, from an unhealed space. And so they're joining based off of their biggest wound. So and they don't know it, they're doing this unconsciously, right? But they do it either from wanting to make money, and they think they're going to just make all this money because they see these people with their posts, and it's going to be easy to do. I'm going to make so much, I'm going to get to the top and be 1%, the blah, 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 right? Or they're just desperate for community, and they just want to be around women. And it looks like they see these pictures with these women on vacation, and they're like, oh my God, I want that. I want to do that too. It's that.
Oh my God, it's so true.
It is. Or they want the recognition, right? It's one of these big wounds. Like, they want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want their voice to be out there. They want to win the awards and get that monthly goal and be on the top 10 list and have the accolades like that. There's one of these, most of the time it's, we all want to experience that in some way, but for each person individually, one will be stronger. That will be their biggest wound, will be their biggest pull. For me, it was money. For most people in MLM, it's money. I think the money is the number one.
Yeah.
And again, this is just in my observation. I haven't pulled data or anything.
I would agree. When I talk to most people who join my team, like, I want to make some extra money. I would agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. People do it for the money. And I do want to say, like, not that wanting those things are bad, but it's the way you show up in an unhealthy way and an unhealed way that you go about it. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's what happens is when we come in from the unhealed space and you're doing all of your actions as a leader and showing up, and the things that you're saying and the things that you're telling your team to do, and the reasons behind it are being motivated by your wound, your results are only going to get you so far. You're going to burn out. It's going to start feeling really bad. And that plays a domino effect on your team. And what happens when you lay out the whole dominoes, when you put a trail, like when you're a kid and you put them all up and you make this pattern, when the first one falls, all the rest fall down right in a line, right? That's what happens to your team. And I've seen this over and over and over again. And then then it starts dominoing on yourself as a leader. I'm a bad leader. I'm not good at this. My team won't stay. I can't make any money, right? It starts dominoing all of your wounds and triggering more wounds in you, not just the first one that you came in to make money, but all of the stuff, right? I can't do this. I'm not good at this. I wasn't made for this. Maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do, blah, 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 blah. All of that starts happening. When you start operating from a healed space and you choose healing as a leader, all of the dominoes, nothing needs to be touched and nothing falls down. And even if have you ever done dominoes where maybe you hit one and only like 5 will fall and the rest will stand up, right? Like the whole trail doesn't fall down. My kids get annoyed when that happens because they want to see the whole thing go, but only a few fall down. Like, stuff will still happen, even as a leader who is healing and healing forward with her team. However, the team doesn't crumble and fall apart because she's passing on through her lineage in her organization. She's passing forward healing and modeling what that looks like, to have clear boundaries, to when stuff happens or stuff comes up, she can lead them from that healed space. She's not falling down. Some of the dominoes might fall, but the whole team, the whole organization, her whole business isn't going to crumble, and no one else's is, unless they choose to. But it's a completely different effect. The results are astronomical. My leaders who operate in healing make way more money, way more impact, and it's sustainable because it's not this up and down road of what, her emotions and her energetics are playing a big part in this. And when we allow our wounds to drive us, that's way, way more low vibe. So if you can even imagine, equating if you're staying in a low vibe energetic space, look at that compared to how much money your team is going to be making. It's equal, right? It's going to stay equal to that because money is energy. everything, who we're attracting into our space, into our teams, is attracted by that energy. If you start shifting more and more and more and healing more and more, your business, Melissa, has grown it's not even been a year. It's wild in how much you've expanded and grown in less than a year's time.
Right.
But I guarantee if you actually look back and tracked from those wounds that you've healed since last year and looked at your business growth, I would bet $1, which is my big bet. I'm not a betting kind of girl. $1. Literally take me to the casino and I'm literally gonna dollars the max $1 in the machines. That you would see your business grew more after each wound you healed.
Like, I'm gonna go back and look at that, because I'm a data girl. I love it.
I know. I would bet $1.
So one of the things you said is and I would love for you to give us some examples, because I think awareness is key, right? Because most, like me, right? I was like, this lady is crazy. I have nothing, no fear. Like, I don't have anything I need to heal. And literally the first wound I healed was abandonment, because I had FOMO. I wanted to be in that fearless challenge because everybody else was doing it. And I had no idea. I wasn't even aware that I was operating from that space. And so you had said when unhealed leaders show up and start leading, they start leading their team a certain way and telling them to do a certain thing. Give us an example of an unhealed leader, so that people can be aware, like, oh, maybe I do that. Maybe that is a key for me to look and see, is that something I need to work on? Like, what would be an example if I was a leader that was, really all about the money and making the money? How would I show up unhealed?
Unhealed, you're going to show up and tell your team to do all the things. You need to go live for 30 days. You need to make sure that you're reaching out to people. You need to be messaging 10 people a day. Make your list. Hit this many people. Make sure that, what is your goal? What's your goal for the month? You're going to set that goal, because she's looking at what her goal is and she's trying to back into that and make sure that everybody's trying to meet those things so that her goal is met, so that she's filling her wound with the money, right? Or whatever it is. So she hasn't even asked, do you like to go live? Does that feel good to you?
Right.
Do you like to reach out to people coldly and just sell them a thing? Does that feel good to you? She has not even asked any of this. She's just saying, go do this. This is how you're going to make money. This is how you're going to succeed. Go big or go home. Go hard. Work hard. Go. Hustle. We've got this. And the unhealed leader also doesn't recognize that it's almost toxic positivity, right? She's doing all of this and pushing her team to go and pushing and forcing with the toxic positivity of cheerleading. We're going to be the best. It's going to be so good. But she hasn't gone in and said, hey team, do these tasks, does this kind of work feel good to you? Does this feel authentic to you to reach out and send these, hey girl, I'm doing this party this month. Do you want to join it? Blah, blah, blah. That, does that feel authentic to you? Does that make you feel like you're in your highest, most empowered, best self? Is the energy that you're putting into that feel really good? They're not asking that. An unhealed leader is not asking those questions. An unhealed leader is saying, do these tasks.
I literally just recorded an episode yesterday, which I know will be controversial, and it's called Why I Don't Believe in the DMO, the Daily Method of Operation, because I don't believe in any of that. Okay, no. So then let's look at the opposite of that. So what does that healed leader look like in that scenario?
Yeah, the healed leader is asking the question. Asking their team. The healed leader is asking her team, what is it? She's actually digging in, asking the questions that are going to because see, the thing is, a healed leader has to work with a predominantly unhealed team, right? So you're going to come in as this healed leader. You're coming in with blind, just like we were, right? We were blind babies and we didn't know, and we're grasping around, trying to figure shit out. And can I say shit on your podcast?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Just bleep me out. But and then it's when we heal, it's suddenly we see everything so clearly. It's bling, we see the whole world in color. It's the Technicolor vision happens. And And so then we're with this whole team of, little babies that are blind still, and we have to lead them in a very gentle and loving way. We can't just rip it off and be like, and now you have to heal, and this is what it looks like. The same thing. We got to come in with this loving, healed energy, which you do anyways, because when you're operating from that space, it does. But asking those questions that will plant the seed to get them, that's how we start getting our team to be even on the healing path. Because not everyone, it has to be a choice, right? We can't force anyone to do anything. So as a healed leader, going in and starting to ask the questions that are going to plant the seeds of like, what feels really good to you? I want to know, like, what lights you up to share with people? How does it make you feel like your most empowered best self to do and get the word out in this product or this company or whatever, the thing that you love the most? How does it make you feel so good to do? What are the things that don't feel good to you? Like that you absolutely know that you do not want to do? And what are the things that you're unsure of? Like you're like, I don't know. Like I think I'm scared of this, but I'm not sure, but I'd be willing to try. How can I help you try these things that might feel good? Because the thing is, some people are like, oh, I could never go live. I hate going live. I would never do it. I've never tried it, but I would never do it. And if they were encouraged and supported in the right way to try it in a healthy way and not a forced way, if she did it with her own free will to try it and then decided from that moment whether she loved it or didn't, that's just another step in the right direction of empowering her team to get them moving in the right direction that feels really good for them. Because the downfall of the unhealed leader is she's forcing organizations to do things that don't feel good. They don't feel safe to say, I don't like doing this thing. So they keep doing it, or they just stop doing it completely and ghost her. And then the leader, the unhealed leader, is like, what am I doing wrong? I don't get it. Like, I'm telling them, I've given them everything. I've given them my blueprint. They're doing it, or they're not doing it, and they just leave. Like they don't want it that bad. They don't want it that bad. That's like the worst thing that the unhealed leader thinks. On the opposite end, the healed leader is not just giving the DMO or saying, this is what I do and it works for me. It's like, how can I help you figure out what feels best for you? Because when she helps her team figure that out, they're all going to be operating from the space of lit up. I'm lit up and this is exciting and I want to try these things. And for me, there's no such thing as failure. It's just trying a thing and I don't like it. So I'm going to move on to the next thing, right? Like if that's what the team is operating at, it creates this level of excitement and this buzz. And then suddenly they're like, Melissa, how are you always like this? And you're like, well, it's because I healed. And then they're like, oh, I have some things I need to heal too. Or they see it in the leader, the healed leader is saying, you know what? Why do you think you're actually scared of going live? And then the team person is like, I'm afraid of what people will think of me. I'm afraid of what my family will say if I do. And then the healed leader is like, that sounds like it might be a judgment wound. Like, have you ever looked into where it was in your childhood that you were judged? And she's leading them down the path of looking inward, of cultivating the awareness of, oh, I wonder where this thing is coming from. And that's where you start looking at the awareness and the contemplation, and then it leads them to potentially wanting to heal themselves.
That's so good. I'm thinking, I didn't even realize that we did this. So we redid our onboarding in I started in March. And so in May, we realized we needed an onboarding system and we were doing it one way. And then we were like, this doesn't really seem to be working. Let's move it to another way. And it's literally basic, like log into your back office and set your picture for your website. It's nothing weird. It's just basic stuff. And then we're like, now that you've done those, reach out to your upline to then do next steps. And we have those conversations. Do you want a VIP group? Do you like doing that? Do you know? And I didn't even realize we subconsciously were doing that from a healed space because we didn't want to tell people this. And all the time they're like, just tell me what to do. Do you tell me what to do every day? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do every day because it has to be what works for me might not work for you. I said, here are we have trainings, we have examples, but you have to figure out what works for you. And so we have those conversations around what is the feeling you want to be. I've really tried to shift the team from thinking about the results to the action and really thinking, how do I want to feel at the end? And talking about all of the, like, whenever we run a team challenge, it's never results based, it's action based. It's like, here's something you might want to try.
Yes.
And it's eventually going to get you a result, but we're not focusing in on the result, right?
Yeah.
So, and we did a live
good.
in December. We did the 12 days of live, and we had people who had never gone live before. They're like, I'll just try it. I'm like, just try it. If you do one day, you get one entry. Like, you can get up to 12 entries, but you could choose not to. And, so it was interesting how many people tried it and were like, oh, it's not that bad. As I kept doing it, I could keep going. But it's interesting to think like that, because I guess subconsciously I just did that from that space and didn't realize that's what I was doing.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because you're operating from a healed space, and you are the poster child of healed leadership. It's amazing. It's amazing to see, because you are now operating literally subconsciously from that space. All of the actions, the things that you're putting in place for your leadership, here's what's really beautiful about how this works in the lineage of your business, because we talk about a lot, I work do a lot of healing with women in their personal life. And we talk about how that affects your personal family lineage, right? When we heal ourselves, we heal our lineage backwards and we heal it forward. And that's beautiful. It's the same thing in business. When you're healing and operating your business from a healed space, you're healing it backwards, but you're also healing it forward, because you're actually physically putting, like you said, onboarding in place that has healed energy, healed action in it. All of that's in there. If you were to walk away from this company, right, and you're like, I'm ready to move on to the next thing, all of that stuff that you did is connected to the lineage of that. So anyone that stays there is going to get that same healed onboarding. Like, you're literally paying healing forward in your business lineage. Even if you left, it's going to make a radical impact by way of healing. It's a byproduct of that. And it's incredible that that's what you're doing, and that's what they're experiencing.
So exciting. That's so exciting. We're doing that.
I know.
So if somebody a leader's like, okay, this is so amazing, I want to start doing this. Tell us what you think, what should a leader just kind of start doing? And then I want you to tell us how people can also connect with you, or unless there's something else you want to, there's something else you want to add before we do that part?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So tell us, I'm a leader and I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds so amazing, but I don't even know where to start. What should I do? And then let us know how people can connect with you.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing you should do is I don't have, if you're like, what should I do? I would first step, journal around why it is that you want to shift. What is your motive for shifting into healed leadership? What is the thing behind what's the reason behind it all? What is coming in for you, and what's the why behind it, right? That needs to be connected to the space of not for money, not for anything else, not because, whatever. What is it? What is God telling you? What is your spirit telling you? You have this nudge that you're like, I want to do this. I want my team to experience this. And so journal out why, and how would that feel? How would it feel? I think this is going to be the biggest piece in your journaling. Why? And how would it feel if you could imagine your team shifting from where they're at now, even if it's good, if you moved into actually you're a healed leader and you're pouring this kind of energy into your team, how would that feel and what would that look like? Connect to that energy first. And then after you've done that, if it feels like you're like, heck yes, I'm ready for this. I want this for myself first, because it's always for us first. We heal for ourselves first. We don't go out and just try to help other people heal through us or by way of us. It's us first. They're going to receive our energy first. If you're ready to do it for you first, then you come in and we do core wound healing together, and then you start taking that out, and you'll start operating in your team that way. And the only way to do it with me now is either working with me one-on-one privately, but I think, which is wonderful, and I love working with women privately, but the funnest way, especially for women in network marketing, because we're women of community, right? Women in network marketing, we love that communal aspect, which I do too. We do this in a group session, and that's how Melissa experienced it in the beginning, and that's how everyone in the network marketing space that I worked with over the last few years has done it that way. You do it in a group setting, and I'm hosting the next group healing session in February. And any woman who wants to join us in doing that, it's a 5-day process. We're actually only healing for 3 days, and I think I'll have a little bit more, like I'm going to go live, and it's going to be structured. I'm very excited because it'll be a little different than I've ever done it before. It's going to be phenomenal. But it will be the best investment that you've ever made. Melissa can tell you, in your life, in your business. It's life changing. It's business changing in the best directions. If you desire to have a closer relationship with God, you will be so connected. If you desire to unleash your creativity and start pouring into your business in a different way, like, you're going to be blessed by this in so many ways, other than just what you think you're going in it for. Like, whatever it is that you end up journaling out, it's way bigger than what you even.
It's way bigger than that. And I think, you might be thinking, oh, this sounds good, but I'm really scared. You know what? That's good, because because you should be scared going in, because that means that you are ready. And so my advice to people is that you should try it, because you never know what's on the other end. If I knew now, hindsight, I always say, if hindsight was a spiritual gift, I have it. Like, like, if I knew then how I would be operating my business now, I would have got my butt in core wound healing in 2017 and found Monique. Like, literally, like, if I am not even joking, like, if I knew what it was going to produce, and I had no expectation when I did that, I healed personally. I had all my wounds have been personal healed wounds. They've been they've impacted my business, but they've impacted my marriage. They've impacted my friendships. They've impacted so many things, just the way I show up daily as a mom, as a Christian, as a friend, as just a person in general, in traffic in Orange County, when I'm driving in the car. Like, I show up completely different everywhere. And it's because of this. But the exciting part is to see where my business has gone. I was telling Monique today, the day we're recording this, my team just hit 500 from February. It's December. We're recording this on December 30th. So my team just hit 500 from April 1st to now. We hit 500. And I told her, it's so amazing. I had zero idea that would even be at all something that would ever happen to me. And remembering back in like June, when we were so excited when we hit 125, we were so excited. We hit 100. So I was telling her that I had shared my vision with my team on Tuesday, and I'm like, you guys, we're at 494. Like, we'll probably get to 500 by the end of the month, because I was like, whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm just going to put it out there. God's going to bring the right people. Unhealed me would have been like, you guys, we need 6 people. I'm going to run a challenge. Who's going to be the top sponsor? Everybody reach out to everybody they have. I would have done like, here's some graphics to post on your page. Like, that would have been the unhealed leader in me. Push, hustle. But no, the healed me was like, you guys, oh my gosh, let's celebrate what we've done. We have 494 people. That is amazing. We'll probably hit 500, and that will be a milestone marker for us. But you guys, look what we've done. And like, who else should we bring in to share in this thing that we have? It's a very different way of thinking. And it's just, my business is fun. Like, if I never made another dime ever again, it would matter. I say that honestly. Like, I don't even pay attention when I get paid on Fridays. Like, I have no idea until I get the email. I'm like, oh, I got paid. Like, I just find so much joy in like helping other people. And it's because we've gone through healing. So Monique, how can I will put your stuff in the show notes, but how can they personally connect with you?
You can reach out to me in Instagram or Facebook Messenger. You can email me right now. My website is currently I'm relaunching and rebranding, which is exciting. It will be the same domain, which is xoxomonique.com, but it's not up as of this day right now, but it will be. You can email me at monique@xoxomonique.com, but really easily, just literally reach out to me on social media. I'm easy to find. XOXO or Monique Lume. Or ask Melissa, and she'll direct you to me if you can't find me for some reason. But we'll drop the link in the show notes for the healing opportunity, the group healing session that we're doing in February. You can join that as well. And I would love to see anybody there who's ready to really shift their business into Healed Leadership, you could literally have a story like Melissa's. Like you started in December, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
November.
I think I went to that first thing in August. Yeah, it was like summertime.
But when you signed up, it was like end of November, beginning of December last year.
Yeah.
And so this has been a oh my gosh, we're literally in a full year moment right now.
We are, because I think I went to that Fearless thing, I think was in summer, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't like that girl. And then I put you on the shelf, and then everybody else was doing something else. I'm like, I don't know, again, I gotta go try this
recruiting thing.
And so it took me August, September, October, like 3 months to like get hit upside the head and watch all the other people be like, oh, they're different. It was kind of like when I became a Christian, I was like, I want what they have. What is it that I'm missing? And I'm like, oh, it was Jesus at that time. Oh, it's healing, right? Which really has strengthened my relationship with God. So we'll get everybody connected. Well, Monique, it's always so amazing to talk to you. It's always spiritually divine how we end up recording. We've been wanting to record, and she posted on Facebook yesterday, like her staycation got ruined because of all the Southwest flights. And I was like, I know what you should be doing tomorrow. You've been wanting to talk and do a new podcast episode. Let's do that tomorrow. And she's like, okay. And my house cleaners were coming, so it was perfect. I needed something to do. And so I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And everybody needs a friend like Monique. So connect with her and you will all be blessed.
Hey, mamas, did you enjoy that episode? I hope so. Who do you know that needs to hear this information? One of the ways you can show your love for the Mom Squad is by subscribing, reviewing, and sharing. And don't forget to take a screenshot of the podcast and post it on your favorite social media platform. And tag me at Melissa Wheelahan. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.